Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. Welcome to the Fly With Us podcast. This podcast is bringing the art of conversation, self-love, self-care, mental health care and protection, life lessons, love lessons, and everything in between. Today, we're going to talk about being more assertive. I'm Lady Bounce.
And I am Picket Fence.
And Picket has the Mindfulness Minute for us for this week.
Don't let us forget that the cause of human actions are usually immeasurable, more complex, varied than our subsequent explanations of them. And I'll add to that. I believe that every single event in life happens in an opportunity to choose love over fear. Word up.
That was deep.
Word up.
Okay, so we're talking about being assertive. What does that mean to you? When someone says, Picket, you need to be more assertive, what do you hear?
I think that for me, in most cases, that would mean that I need to be, more initiative. You know, you have to be not aggressive, but more action prone. Or it could mean that you need to stand your ground softly, I'll say.
I would lean more toward your second definition for me as it relates in my life. Speaking up, standing your ground without being, rude or aggressive, like you said at first. In other words, maybe proving your point without being loud and obnoxious, or proving, your point of view, or proving why you're right or why your idea is better without it being a negative takeaway when the exchange is over.
Okay. Break that down for us.
So, I'll take, for example, on a job, you may have an idea that is better than the other idea that was actually chosen. You can be assertive and clear in your communication and explain why your idea is better, or why your idea works better, without it being a conflict or a confrontation between you and the other person or persons that you might be talking to. So it's very possible to stand up for yourself, stand up for your ideas and what you believe in, without it having to be a conflict when it's over, without, I can't stand this person and I got to work with them every day because of, this or that and the other. Because the fact of the matter is, when we're talking about jobs especially, these are people that you have to talk to, work with, and interact with on a daily basis. So you really would like to not have that tension and that conflict there, if at all possible, because that makes your working environment a lot better. I mean, I don't know about you, but I don't want to work in a place where everybody is, staring daggers at each other and we can't talk, or we can't joke and laugh, or, share a smile, because there's so much aggression there, because people don't know how to be assertive without being aggressive.
And what do you think causes that?
I think for humans, we want to be in control. We want to be dominant. And sometimes you can't always be dominant. Sometimes you have to play the back a little bit, or move to the side and let somebody else take over. But we as humans, we want to be in control so bad. And when it comes to having a boss, or being a boss and being a manager and a leader, which we've talked about before, you want to make sure that your communication style is one that is assertive, but also a little passive in some ways. So it doesn't seem like you're ruling with an iron fist, or you're, trying to be a slave driver, for lack of a better term. No one wants to work in an environment like that, where they're jumping when the boss comes around the corner because you shared a giggle with your coworker, or you are hyper vigilant to make sure you're doing everything right, to the point where you end up walking on eggshells So it's not to upset this other person because their management style is more aggressive and less assertive. So you can be assertive without being aggressive. You can be in charge, you can dominate, you can show your dominance, but also show that you're willing to fall back if need be. So the best leaders, I've been told, are leaders who can follow. So are you a leader who can take the back seat and follow your employees or follow your team and trust that they're going to lead you? Or do you have to be the one that is leading the charge all the time?
Mm-hmm. So for me, that sounds like, which we talk about all the time, is ego.
Yes.
Is in play. Ego is in play. Ego is saying that, especially if you're given, quote unquote, a role, say the manager, the supervisor, a lot of times the ego may direct you to thinking that you should be calling all the shots. And not only calling all the shots, you feel, some people that are ego driven feel that they have to be forceful with calling those shots, demanding instead of compassionate enough to say, I need your help on this. This is what I would like to do. How can we get this accomplished together?
Exactly. That kind of management style that you described at first is a management style that a lot of managers who haven't been properly trained to be managers tend to fall into. So if you were someone who worked your way up through a company, you're going to have a more team, I can play the back, I can play the side, let's do this together kind of approach to leading, as opposed to somebody who walked in at the manager level and you walk in kicking butt and taking names. That is not an environment that most people would like to work in, because it makes for a hostile work environment. It breeds and creates resentment, and it makes people not want to do things for you. If you ask people in the right way, which we've talked about before, they will follow you to the ends of the earth. But it's about how you ask and how you treat those people that you're asking such a task from. So you can't be so driven and so caught up in your titles that you forget the human element that goes into every single action, which was the second part of your mindfulness minute, is that human element is always there. And we cannot turn it off. We can't dismiss it. We should not dismiss it, because we are all humans having a human experience, and no one wants their human experience to be marred with hostility and conflicts, because that causes stress. That's not good self-care. Then you end up, self-medicating yourself, not eating right, not exercising, and all of those things that lead to an unhealthy balance because you're so stressed in this area of your life.
Oh, I agree. I was helping a friend with mine with a class assignment. The class assignment was about hip hop, but you can still take this jewel from it.
Okay.
Because that when we don't address the problems of humanity, people are quick to turn towards bad alternatives, like you just said, self-medicating. If you're working in a hostile environment, especially if it doesn't have to be, which most cases don't have to be hostile, you stress, like if I'm a leader and I'm not leading with compassion, I could stress my employees out, and instead of me being so forceful and demanding, thinking that that's going to bring my productivity, what it does is it stresses my people that work under me to the point where they're even less effective.
Yes.
And they may turn to bad vices, especially if they don't feel like they have other outlets. And that's one of the problems we have in management in America. We aren't taught to manage with compassion and understanding. And although I have the position I need to recognize my employees to help me be a better leader. I can't lead saying that I know everything, I have everything figured out, and just do what I say. That's a horrible way to lead. If you don't have any understanding and background of the people that are working for you, and if you don't have compassion for their lives and their lifestyles and their ability to be leaders and within themselves.
Exactly. I as you know, we've talked about before, I work in the school system. So in my 17 years, I've had some really great principals who understand that, who are, you know, they'll come to you and say, hey, can you do this? Or do you mind doing this? When they ask me in that way, then I'm more apt to go, yeah, sure, I can do that for you. I can handle that. But then I've had principals that go, okay, do this, do this, do this. Here's your to-do list for today. And I'm like, wait, hold on. First of all, I'm an adult, you know, just like you are. I am a person. You're making demands instead of making requests. When you operate that kind of way as a manager or a principal, your employees are less productive because they're spending a lot of time thinking about how you are irritating them or how you don't care, or they spend a lot of time in the break room griping about you as a leader, which of course wastes time, it wastes money, it wastes resources. But it also, when I get back on the floor, when I get back off my break, instead of building 5 machines in an hour, I'm only gonna build 2 because I don't feel like it. You didn't ask me the right way. You're not talking to me right. You're not treating me like a person. You're treating me like a thing. Or like I owe you something, or I am to bow down to you because you have the leadership position, you have the management role. And to me, having those titles without knowing how to properly use the power that comes with those titles, I don't want to work for you like that. I don't want to work for a person like that, because that doesn't help you. It doesn't help you be a better leader. It doesn't help me be a better employee. And if you're in a company that you want to grow your employees from being a custodian, for example, to being a CEO, when you treat them poorly, they don't stick around long enough to grow to help keep the company going. They leave. If you look at what's happening in the news right now with Amazon, they're a really great employer, but they're not. We need Amazon. Worldwide, we need Amazon. We need what Amazon does for us and how it makes our lives easier. So it's very disheartening to see how the company treats its employees, knowing that without these people, your business will crumble. The world would almost stop if Amazon shut down today. So it's very, like I said, it's very disheartening. It's very sad to see the way that the managers are making these millions and billions of dollars, and they're treating the people that work for them like, I don't know, like slaves, or, you know, kids in a sweatshop in some third world country. And it's sad. And you can't expect people to be their best and do their best if you're constantly berating them, dogging them, putting them down, and not treating them right. People are not going to be that productive. You would think that during the pandemic, when we all suffered and we were all hit with this blow, that it would have raised the compassion meter around the world, that we would have started being nicer to each other and understanding this is a person on the other side, you know, of this wall or in front of me. This isn't just an employee. This isn't a robot. This isn't a machine. The way that we we lost people so quickly and suddenly because of COVID. It caused us to have to work from home. It shut down our school system. You would just, I don't know, I guess in my naivete, I'd like to think that would have brought us closer as people and more and make us more compassionate, because we all suffered through this at the same time and it was nothing anybody could do about it. But in some cases, that didn't happen in some jobs and some sectors of employment, and that is really sad.
Yeah, I think that some people act as if we didn't go through what we've just gone through in the last year and a half, almost 2 years. And for a lot of people, it is as business as usual. It didn't change the mind state of a lot of people, especially people who are ego driven. They still have that same mind state. They still have the same mind state that leaders should be leaders and leaders should demand and force their power on their employees. But that mind state has never gotten us to progress in society. And this should have been a wake-up call to reevaluate everything that we do. Every operating system that we were operating on before should have gone to the wayside. This was a time that we should have developed a new programming of thought, because it never worked before. Because it didn't work before, the way that we led and the way that we did things is one of the reasons we were hit so hard by the pandemic. And instead of waking up, I'll say there's probably a large percentage of people that have awakened because of what we've gone through, but there's still a large percentage just wants to get back to the way it was.
Right.
And I don't feel that that's right. I don't feel that that's a good idea. This was our chance to evolve. And it's sad for those that don't want to evolve and change, have a paradigm shift in the way we think.
I definitely agree with that. And you and I have talked about, during the pandemic and, schools especially, our educational system in this country has needed an overhaul for at least 100 years. And this was our perfect opportunity to push, reset, restart, start anew. Sometimes going back to the way it was is, one, not possible. And two, it's not always what's best. When we're thinking about just staying with education, the way that we do education in this country is wrong. And it's been wrong. And we had this perfect opportunity to totally reset it. And the powers that be that had the power to change it benefit so much from the system as is that they wouldn't hear of any changes to the system because they benefit from it so well. And that is sad. If you look at, even looking at our prison system, the unfair sentencing that people get, people of color and people not of color, some of the sentences are just downright unfair. How long is enough time? How long is enough time to learn your lesson if you have a loved one who is murdered? How long is enough time for that person to stay in jail? Because the bottom line is, the fact of the matter is, even if they stayed in jail until they died themselves, it still doesn't ease the hurt and the pain of you losing your loved one. People do things in the heat of the moment and they make rash and brash decisions that have lifelong and lasting consequences. I understand that. I get that. I understand. People got to go to jail. You did something wrong, you go to jail. But why do you have to go to jail for 100 years? Why is that necessary? Who does that help? When you're taking fathers away from children, when you're taking mothers from children, and if you look at what just happened with the pandemic, we have all of these single parents whose children couldn't go to school and they couldn't go to work. It would have been so much greater if the other parent was there offering support, And I'm just speaking in the cases of people that were locked up. I'm not talking about people who are right here in your own city and don't take care of their kids. I'm speaking specifically on people who are in jail for nonviolent crimes. That mom could have been at home with the kid while the daddy is at work because that kid can't go to school. We just, as you said, as a people, we need a paradigm shift. We have to change the way that we think about things and the way that we act as a result of what we think, because it's not doing any good for our current state of affairs, and it's not doing any good for the children that are watching us. And these children that are watching us are going to be the ones that are going to be running the world, and we're not giving them a really good example of what that looks like.
Right. It's going to continue to be the way it is unless we make a quick, thorough change.
I agree.
It's time to totally change the way we do things, from education, from businesses, to our mental state. This is the time that we should have been making a change. And like I said, some people are making the change. I think that right now, what you can do as an individual is try to link with like minds that are willing and want to make that change, because that's what society needs. If you're a person that has been tired and run down by the old way of running things, then try your best to link with people that are making an effort to have that shift.
I agree 100%. Manage people, not robots, not assets.
Yeah.
Stop looking at people as assets.
Yeah.
People are people.
And it's like the powers that be are not changing. I mean, I went to Dollar General the other day, and now they have a U-scan. I was used to seeing it at Kroger's or Walmart, but Dollar General, you can't even keep the store clean. Why are you trying to have a U-scan? You know, I mean, I don't know if they were thinking like, hey, if we have a U-scan, people clean the store. That's not going to happen. You have to change the way you treat the employees, so the employees will want to come to work, so the employees will want to get the job done. And U-scan's not going to solve your problems.
Right.
I mean, and everybody's trying to go to U-scan. Fast food places are going U-scan. So now we're cutting people out of jobs. So what are those people going to do about working? You know, I guarantee you, if a person works at a place like a Dollar General or a Walmart, for example, they're probably paying a lot back to the store that they're getting paid from.
Absolutely.
You get everything at Walmart. You can get a lot of stuff at Dollar General. Treat those people good, because not only are you paying them, they're paying you right back. Have compassion for those people, especially as a leader. Don't be a slave driver. We're supposed to have ended slavery in 1865. But a lot of corporations have that same mentality when it comes to their employees.
And that is actually a double-edged sword too. As you were talking, I was thinking about when you were saying, you know, have compassion for your employees. Another, on the flip side of that, we as patrons of these businesses, we need to have compassion for the people who are working in these roles.
Absolutely.
Because when you go to Dollar General and there's a U-scan, that is probably because there's some group of employees who quit because they were tired of customers talking to them crazy, being disrespectful. We are all in the midst of a mental health crisis and a global pandemic. And we look past each other as if we're not even there. And that's on both sides. It's a managerial standpoint, and that is us as customers. We as a people need to treat each other better. Stop yelling and cussing at the little kids who work at Burger King. Okay, your order is messed up. All you do is take it back in, tell them that your order is messed up, and give them an opportunity to fix it. I guarantee you that person at that Burger King drive-thru did not purposely mess up your order. They did not set out to go, hey, picket fences in the driveway, in the drive-thru. Let's mess his order up on purpose just to mess with his day. People are human. Humans are flawed. They make mistakes. And they deserve grace and compassion as a result of the mistakes that they make.
Hold up.
I have yet to meet a person who's never made a mistake. That's why pencils have erasers. That's why ink pens now even come with erasers. So I'm not understanding how we got to this point in this world where we expect everybody to be a robot, to know what you're thinking, to be able to jump at your instant request and do what you want exactly the way you want or exactly the way you picture it when you didn't give clear directions to begin with.
Word.
You know, we just as people, we have to get back to being human. We have hearts, we have souls. We are more than our jobs. We are more than our titles. We are more than our roles that we carry every day. I'm not just a wife. I'm not just a teacher. I'm not just a mother. I am a combination of a lot of different things and a lot of different roles. But at the heart of all of those is a human with a brain, with thoughts, with feelings, and with emotions. And we have to stop thinking that we're the only ones that have emotions. I'm the boss. This is what I want. This is how I want it. And that's just that. Well, that's what you want. And that's how you feel. But the people that you are barking these orders at have feelings too.
Right.
So that's being aggressive and not being assertive as a leader.
Right. And remember, we are all going through some stuff that flies like to gravitate to.
Yes. And
Everyone.
You don't know what anybody else is going through.
Exactly. You don't know how many flies that a person has on them. You don't know how many pounds of what in a smaller amount of bag that somebody is carrying.
Mm-hmm.
Lead with compassion. And that's our self-care assignment for this week. Not only lead, because not everybody is a leader, but our self-care assignment is to move with compassion, no matter what you're doing. Smile when you see a person. Greet them with the hello. Even if you're not a hello person, nod your head. How you doing? Ask a fellow co-worker, do you need some help with something? If it's your people that you down with and you love, hug them like there is no tomorrow. Tell them you appreciate them in your life. Be grateful. Move with compassion is the self-care assignment for this week. Now let's jump into my favorite part of the show. Brain science.
Okay, so we've been talking about being compassionate and being assertive. I'm going to tell you why you need to be more assertive and how you can be more assertive if you're normally a person who is passive or passive aggressive. How to be assertive without being aggressive. Being assertive reduces stress. It allows you to communicate better. Assertiveness can help you control stress and anger and improve coping skills. Recognize and learn assertive behavior and communication. Being assertive is a core communication skill. Assertiveness can help you express yourself effectively and stand up for your point of view, while also respecting the rights and beliefs of others. That's important. Being assertive can also help boost your self-esteem and earn others' respect. This can help with stress management, especially if you tend to take on too many responsibilities because you have a hard time saying no. Being assertive is usually viewed as a healthier communication style. Assertiveness offers many benefits. It helps you keep people from taking advantage of you. It can also help you from acting like a bully to others. Behaving assertively can help you gain self-confidence and self-esteem, understand and recognize your feelings, earn respect from others, improve your communication, create win-win situations, improve your decision-making skills, create honest relationships, and gain more job satisfaction. Learning to be more assertive can also help you effectively express your feelings when communicating with others about issues. So, how can you learn to be more assertive? Let me give you some tips real quick. People develop different styles of communication based on their life experiences, which you just talked about. We're all going through something that flies like at different levels. Your style may be so ingrained that you're not even aware of what it is. People tend to stick to the same communication style over time. But if you want to change your communication style, you can learn to communicate in healthier and more effective ways. Here are some tips to help you become more assertive. First, assess your style. Do you voice your opinions or do you remain silent? Do you say yes to additional work even when your plate is full? Are you quick to judge or blame? Do people seem to dread or fear talking to you? Understand your style before you start making changes. Using I statements. Using I statements lets others know what you're thinking or feeling without sounding accusatory. For instance, say I disagree rather than you're wrong. If you have a request, say I would like you to help with this rather than you need to do this. Keep your request simple and specific. Practice saying no. If you have a hard time turning down requests, try saying no, I can't do that right now. Don't hesitate. Be direct. If an explanation is appropriate, keep it brief. Rehearse what you want to say. Even if it's challenging to say what you want or think, practice general scenarios you may encounter. Say what you want to say out loud. It may help you to write it out first too, so you can practice, from a script. Consider role-playing with a friend or colleague and ask for clear feedback. I do that to you a lot. I'm like, hey, run this through with me and make sure I don't sound bad when I say it. Using good body language. Communication isn't just verbal. Act confident even if you aren't feeling it. Keep an upright posture but lean forward just a bit. Make regular eye contact. Don't cross your arms or legs. Practice assertive body language in front of a mirror or a friend or colleague. Keep your emotions in check. This is the most important one. Conflict is hard for most people. Maybe you get angry or frustrated, or maybe you feel like crying. Although these feelings are normal, they can get in the way of resolving conflicts. If you feel too emotional going into a situation, wait just a bit if possible. Then work on remaining calm. Breathe slowly. Keep your voice even and firm. And last but not least, start small. At first, practice your new skills in situations that are low risk. For instance, try out your assertiveness on a partner or friend before tackling a difficult situation at work. Evaluate yourself afterwards and tweak your approach as necessary. When you need help being assertive, remember, learning to be assertive takes time and practice. If you spent years silencing yourself for whatever reason, becoming more assertive probably won't happen overnight. Or if anger leads you to be too aggressive, you may need to learn some anger management techniques. If despite your best efforts, you're not making progress toward becoming more assertive, consider formal assertiveness training. And if certain issues such as anger, stress, anxiety, and fear are getting in your way, consider talking with a mental health professional. The payoff will be well worth it. By becoming more assertive, you can begin to express your true feelings and needs more easily. You may even find that you get more of what you want as a result.
Word up. Yo, that's our show for this week. Remember, you can find us wherever you find your favorite podcast. We're on all social media. That's Facebook, Twitter, IG, and now even on TikTok. If you would like to help us with our work to continue to bring you self-care on a daily basis, you can become a patron at patreon.com/flywithuspodcast. But please share the daily self-care assignments. Please share the weekly shows. Tell a friend about us. And as always, please send us an email or a comment. Let us know you're flying with us. You could just come to the page and say, yo, I'm flying with y'all. It is much appreciated. This is a time where everyone is going through something and we need self-care in this world. And we would like for you to fly with us. It's your boy Picket Fence.
It's your girl, Lady Bounce. And also, we are available for hosting duties. If you would like us to host your event, drop us a line or an email in our social medias. We will get back to you right away. We do have a reasonable fee, just so you know. But keep flying with us. I'm Lady Bounce.
I'm Picket Fence.
We out of here.
Peace.
Peace.